My name is Kweku Temen, and it's a pleasure me joining you with the latest updates of business stories. Today, we dovetail into the health business sector, and we tell you some of the more practices in the industry that was killing good business in the sector. We'll also move into that industry players who were primarily created to support industry with all the technical abilities. We're talking about Gratis Foundation, and indeed, if they've been able to live to their mandates and how Ghanaians are perceiving those made in Ghana industrial products. We'll move on to the Gratis Foundation Center and get up close with the CEO. Apart from that, you want to know about your investments, even as we head for the festive season. I would always tell you that if you're saving to spend every bit of it during this festive season, you might be getting it all wrong about investments. What are the right practices and the modus operandi to adapt? This and many other interesting details coming up on Business Focus. All right, so the Red Business Package is what I'm signed onto, and Vodafone is championing this initiative. Tonight, they are our proud sponsors, and we're sincerely grateful that they help us bring this program to you week by week. I'll now move on and talk about some business with the health sector. Although promising, well, some quacks have been introduced. I'll give you some highlights, and then when we come back into the studio, I'll introduce my guest to you. But before then, we would get a story on it. The health sector thrives on standards and good practices. Allied health services play a key role in delivering quality health care. The absence of an act and legislative instrument for health providers provided a fertile grounds for quacks to operate in the system. In this story, we'll try to find out how members put themselves together through advocacy to fight this menace.
The health sector thrives on standards and good practices. Allied health services play a key role in delivering quality health care. The Ghana Association of Biomedical Laboratory Scientists is a business association providing allied health services. Formed in 1971, it has over 3,000 members across the country, providing vital services to support the health sector. The absence of an act for the allied health industry provided a fertile ground for quacks in the system. The allied health industry, a profitable business venture, was not regulated. Services were done without regards to laid down international standards.
Non-medical laboratory scientists practicing in the lab, parading themselves as laboratory scientists. We also have mushrooming. A lot of laboratories spring up without any proper regulation.
Quacks undercut business opportunities available to professionals in the industry. With the support of the BUSAC Fund, an advocacy to get recognition and ensure members adhere to standards was started. Workshops were held with stakeholders while research were conducted to find better ways of improving the industry. The result is the Health Professions Regulatory Bodies Act 2013, Act 857.
Yes, with the council in force now, the mushrooming of allied health facilities all over the country, especially the medical laboratory, everybody understands their rooms everywhere. Laboratory has began to decline, and people now required licenses to be able to practice.
Laboratories are now well regulated before being allowed to do business. With a well-regulated allied health industry, businesses are improving and membership of the biomedical laboratory scientists has increased.
All right, so I've had the two resource persons join me in the studios to give us up to speed on some of the latest updates of happenings in and around the allied health sector. Well, Victor Degenu, let me mention his middle name. That's Victor Amesau Degenu. He is a medical laboratory scientist, also the immediate past General Secretary, the Association of Biomedical Laboratory Scientists. You're welcome to the studios. And he's closely being joined by his colleague, Michael Michael Amewunye. He is a member of the task force. That's the past task force. He's also a medical laboratory scientist. He doubles as a professional regulator body and a board member of the Allied Health Professions Council. Quite a big portfolio you have there, Michael. But gentlemen, you are very much welcome into the studio. I'm glad that you are here. Today we have the opportunity to correct some improper acts in the allied health sector, and we're glad that you're here to share with us. First of all, let me find out from you, Victor. Give me a picture of the situation in the past when it came to allied health operators in the country, and now what is pertaining.
Thank you, Kweku. It will interest you to know that before the law, quackery was at the height. Mushroom industry, laboratory industry was a profit venture. Anybody can enter in. So, because of that, the situation was becoming very alarming. Alarming to the extent that if you are not careful, you go to a laboratory with malaria, you may end up coming with something else. That will be very detrimental to our health and the economy.
And this was not good at all.
Not.
There were pressures put on some of the members and the board and the like. So let me come to you, Michael. Tell me, he's described the situation as one that was not good. Did they approach the board? What were the concerns they were bringing in? And immediately, what measures did you have to put in place?
Thank you very much, and good evening to viewers. Kweku, the advocacy program, I will take it from the regulatory perspective, resulted in a situation where the professional body was able to dialogue with the ministry, and then the bills with the parliament, members of parliament, and were able to get a task force in place to actually begin to streamline the system. And the whole aim during this advocacy period was to ensure the service quality, good quality service quality is attained, for the protection of the public, and then for a punishment of the offenders, so that we will be able to attain that desirable quality of healthcare for the people of Ghana.
I enjoy the way there seemed to be a systematic or collaborative approach. Now, Victor started with a challenge, the quackery as he put it in. Because of that, a task force was set. So I'm coming back to you, Victor. The situation now.
Thank you. The situation now is better compared to the past, in that now there's a regulation. So if you go contrary to that regulation, there's punitive measures. So
are you telling me that I can trust the system or be sure that laboratory investigations for diagnosis it's not undermined in any way? I'm getting that quality results. If it's malaria, I cannot turn it around and say, well, it's another
thank you,
issue.
Yes, you've hit the right point, in the sense that before the law, anybody could just enter lab and start practicing. Now with the law, if you do that, there's punitive measures you cannot do. So the law regulates practice. You have license to practice, and if you don't have that license, my brother, you cannot practice. You cannot practice.
Michael, he tells me if I don't have a license, I can't get into it. Yes. But you are a member of the council. Yes. Tell me about human resource. Juxtapose it with equipment. I thought you were regulating people who were not using the right calibrations, the machines, and do you have human resource as part of?
Yes. Incidentally, the Allied Health Professions Council regulates the professionals, the human resources. Okay. There is another body that is that regulates the facilities, equipment, the institutions. That is the HIFRA, Health Institutions Facility Regulating Agency. They take care of those other parts. But the Allied Health Professions Council actually is responsible for licensing the professions. Okay, it's therefore the practitioners. Okay. And in fact, there are clear guidelines in place, and there's already since there have been direct registration of the people practicing in the system before the advent of the law. And ever since then, that direct licensee, there has been 4 licensure examinations conducted by the council so far to make sure that, so you cannot finish your university or your training program without doing internship. The internship is giving you provisional license to practice under 1 year apprenticeship, 1 year, after which you go and sit the licensure examination to be licensed by the council.
And all this is geared towards giving us the right
to make sure
human,
that
resource quality that
we have it in the system. A lot of people are having it.
Let me hit Victor Degenu with another question, which I'm sure will blow him. Now, you put some research together in your quest to ensure that this whole process is sanitized, this whole industry is sanitized. Can you share with us some of your findings, what you came up with?
Yes. Thank you very much, Kweku. Basically, the research was to find out, 1, the level of practice and the quality of practice. So what we found out was that the quality was rather coming down. It should rather be going up, but it was coming down. Why was it coming down? It was due to
the failures of your own members.
Not our own members.
Your inability to perform well.
No, not so. It is because of infiltration of non-medical laboratory scientists into the lab.
Okay.
Exactly.
So not the ones you have trained, but infiltration of
yes,
quacks.
exactly. That is it. That's why I said from the beginning that quackery was at its peak. Before the law, quackery was at its peak. And mushrooming, anybody can just kitchen, single room, toilet, convert it to a laboratory, and will be there. Ripping off.
Unsuspecting public.
Exactly. Unsuspecting public.
What did the task force do, Michael?
Yes.
What did the task force do? He's passionate about it. He wants to move out of his seat.
Indeed, it is all about all of us.
Did you sit down and watch when he says all? Well, it's all about all of us. So the task force just sat
it's all
down.
about all of us, and my health is at risk as yours. So that was not the possibility we could entertain. Okay. So the task force, the Honorable Electorate at that time set it up to put up the systems and structures in place. Whilst you pursue the passage of the bill into an act to regulate the practice of allied health practices in Ghana, then you also go ahead to set up systems and structures to actually begin to register. So in fact, the first registration was open almost at the end of 2011 to 2012, where the first direct registration was opened by the task force.
I bet you only stayed in Accra to do this.
No. There was a nationwide advert, and people registered from across the country. There were over 3,000 applications received by the task force at that time. You can imagine.
3,000, and they were all professionals in the industry who were trained. Or did you go through any screening?
When the applications were reviewed, we realized that there were people that were not properly qualified. But they were already in the system. But when the law was passed, there is section 24 take care of provisional transitional provisions there. So those that were in practice before the law was passed, you need to take them on board. Give those that are not properly qualified, you give them the adequate training that,
and then gradually they will fade down
exactly in the system.
The
so beyond that,
Victor is eager to
beyond that, we take it from the, if the law was passed and then you are coming in, then the gate is closed. You must now go through a very narrow passage to be allowed to practice, to touch any
30 seconds to add on to this one.
It may interest you to know that the Association of Biomedical Laboratory Scientists has been fighting for this law, this regulation, for well over 40 years.
It never happened.
Never happened. And credit to Dr. Kumbo, when he was given when he was the Minister of Health, he started the process, and Honorable Yelechre came to continue. Honorable Babin came to continue. You see, so you see that, as a matter of fact, people who have interest in the law and have this legal background, they fought for this.
Let me look at the success today as they fought for it, and you have the legal backing. Maybe from the task force point of view, after advocacy, after BUSAC support, what has been your success story today?
Well, the success story has been great. As I mentioned earlier, that with the passage of the act, the task force was transformed into a council. Its first tenure has ended. There's a new council in place, of which I'm still a part of it. So the solution to the problem, I may say, are in four. The first is identifying the proper professional from the quack through registration and licensing. Okay. The second phase was to set practice standard with the help of the professional bodies. And then the third phase, with the collaboration with the training institutions, develop the appropriate curricula that support that set standards. Okay. And then finally, to protect the public by regulatory compliance and enforcement of the standard that the council now put in place. So with that, there is a whole lot of sanity in the system now. You cannot just get up and set and then open laboratory school or laboratories as
all right, Victor, so you just round it up for us,
Yes,
but you've talked about the quacks a lot, so I want to find out, I mean, you've done proper advocacy till now. Today, is it a thing of the past when I go to any allied laboratory for services to be provided? I'm trusting that there would be no quacks in the system.
Yes. Thank you, Kweku. You can trust the system now, but notwithstanding, we cannot guarantee that everybody has the same standard. I'm sure I made myself clear in the point that the quackery has been minimized and the mushrooming of laboratories in every corner of every town has minimized, because now if you do so, the law will take its course.
The law will take its course. Just before I go away, Michael, now I'm looking at government and I'm looking at myself as a businessman. I mean, now that there's sanity in the industry, now that stakeholders, the public sector has really indeed helped you, are you also fulfilling your part of taxation and the like?
Yeah, of course. That part is important because we're looking at the
paying.
Yes, because there's something we call regulatory fees and charges before you are licensed. So you need to pay your fees. Before you run a program in the school, you need to pay for accreditation. Now, that even add up to the practitioner's cost of service. That also be factored into the remuneration that they get. So there is that benefit there. Of course, there's taxes to be charged. There are procurement of goods and services by the council. And there's so business flow around.
Okay.
Of course, so that anybody who now want to open up a laboratory, whether as a service or as a training institution, needs to go through the regulatory process, pay the fees, the charges, and everything.
So all these laid down procedures are there now, Victor. So you talked at one point about these mushrooming laboratories. I mean, when you go around nationwide, would you see that the mushrooming ones are drastically going down and now? How can you track that? You're a research person.
Yes, it's drastically reduced in the sense that you may find 1 in 50.
If I see such ones, I mean, around, and I cannot see any, how do I deal with what do I do?
You must first either report to the association or the council.
Okay.
Yes.
Can I go to the nearest police station?
Exactly. You can do so. With BNI and all those people. Recently, we have arrested a lot of people in Obuasi and Kumasi.
Okay.
Just because
in the rural areas, that's where the problem is.
Exactly.
Gentlemen, I can see a big thank you, and we chose to discuss this subject because it's very integral. It's our own health. Yes. Tomorrow, if Kweku is not here, well, the program might go on, but you might miss the presenter. And we need to ensure that once it's about health, it's good business and the right practices are done. Gentlemen, thank you very much. I'm sincerely grateful. Just hold on while I reintroduce you again. So I've been speaking to Victor Wu Degenu. He's a medical laboratory scientist. Indeed, the two gentlemen are medical laboratory scientists, but immediate past General Secretary, Association of Biomedical Laboratory Scientists. Victor, many thanks for coming. Michael Amewunye, he says his name means humane, actually. So Papa, he's a member of the task force, the past task force, professions regulatory body, and board member, Allied Health Professions Council. Gentlemen, once again, let me say thank you to you.